All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I have Caesar from MLDC, who is really specialized in helping people with legal documentation. And considering the times and where we're at, he's the owner of the company. So I always like to get an idea of like, what are other owners, leaders in the space of legality, based on immigration, based on everything. Like, you want to speak up. You've been pretty vocal on platforms. So, why are you so passionate about really taking a stance?
Taking a stance. Very good. Thank you, Victoria. Well, I am the son of immigrants. I'm originally from Ecuador. My parents brought me here at a very young age. And you see the daily struggles that every parent, every Latino parent has, working on holidays, long hours, overtime. And one of the things is that we fast forward to the future and we see our parents at our older age ready to retire and enjoy their last days, and they not having the right information, they not having the right people to guide them to put all that hard work into something that will protect it. When we have the instruments here, for example, a living trust, our Latino community slowly but surely has been gotten the information about that, but there's is very at an infancy age. So it's very important to be able to educate the customers, let them know that there's other options to protect their assets, not only by the traditional transferring it to our kids. So that way I leave everything to them and I'm on my own. No, there's instruments to be able to do that. We see the injustice that's going on, our families being separated. It is very difficult to see that, when you see, especially when they have little kids, and they're with their little kids. So it's very important to be able to help our Latino community and all the immigrant community and all the communities in general. But this particular one is because we're being targeted, and that's not right.
Yeah, no, I can agree. I mean, for me, it's really about humanity, right? Not left, not right, but humanity in general. We have rights. I think a lot of people within our community as Latinos don't realize what rights we have because we've never really had a need to exercise them. And so, as a leader, again, right, my mom came to this country and she made that sacrifice. And so, I get the privilege now to be able to not only sit here in the capacity of a leader, but a Latina leader and a very successful business which operates in finances. And a lot of our people within our community now struggle with it. And I think to your point about what I love about what you do is I think there's a stigma within our Hispanic or immigrant community where living trusts are only for the rich people, right? It's only like if they use it, it's either for the rich people or when they die, but nothing in between. And I think even more so with the times, this is when we really need to educate people about what free forms are even out there, right? That it doesn't cost anything. And in addition to that, if you want further protection, how do you leverage that with a living trust, right? So, as an owner, what are some of the things that you've done to maybe provide resources to the community?
So, for example, one of the things that we've done from day one is we always visit the customers in their homes. Our office is located in Woodland Hills. They are more than welcome to come to the office, but we've always done it where we visit their homes. Now, more than ever, is where we're seeing the customers saying, hey, can you please come to our house? We're afraid of going out. But no problem whatsoever. We take a step-by-step basis. We do all the footwork for them. They literally don't need to do anything. They don't need to gather any paperwork or documentation from the house. We pull everything directly from the county. So we do from A through Z. Why does that matter? It matters more now, but thinking about it, we've been doing that for a long time, is that it facilitates for them not to be able to worry that if I need to go out and to the county recorder and get a copy of my deed from point A to point B, I run the risk of getting picked up or something might happen. They don't need to worry that. We'll take care of that in the whole process.
And I think that's amazing because right now there's so much fear. Some people don't even want to get groceries. They're missing doctor's appointments. Their kids are doing the work, right? Like I saw a kid standing on the corner with their flowers because now they have to do the work that their parents were doing, and they have the privilege because the parents sacrificed to do that, and they have to help the household in a different way. And so I think that that's amazing that you go door to door, you help them out, you pull everything A to Z. I know for us, we did like resources. So we
Of
actually
course,
Yeah,
I
we
saw
took
that.
from your page. So thank you for that. We took from your page and we leveraged it. We put it on the resources tab and said, hey, like this is available. Our notaries will come to you free of charge. And so because of that fear, right? So now let me ask you a controversial question.
Okay.
Why do you think other leaders or other small businesses aren't either A, speaking out or B, providing resources to our community?
One of the reasons there is they probably also run in fear. I think that having a platform so big for other leaders, for example, they may fear of losing what they might have created or fear of retaliation, because unfortunately right now, if you say anything that's wrong or anything that's controversial, it may be frowned upon. One of the things that I heard in the news is that now they're asking, now if you're a student that wants to get a visa, they're going to look at your social media, and if you have any hatred towards
Oh,
the
wow.
government, they won't give it to you. So I think that is a fear that might happen. It can also be maybe sometimes the lack of knowledge of what's going on, and all that. But ultimately, I think fear just runs across the board for everybody.
You're not scared?
No,
What? See, you're not
I'm not
scared?
scared because I have God Almighty with me. I have Him in my heart. I put that on my page as well. I believe in Jesus Christ, and I believe He works through people.
Yeah.
So if I am a servant of God, then whatever He allows me to do is with His blessing. So I am not afraid to vocalize my faith. I'm not afraid to vocalize for my community because at the end of the day, there's a God above and He will take care of me and the people that are going through everything.
Yeah. Well, we definitely need more of you, more of me. I mean, for me, it's really about standing up for what's right. We have core values within our organization, one being family. And for me to see these families torn apart due to a symptom of a broken system is just an injustice for me not to stand. I'm a mom, I've got kids. So I empathize. I empathize with their community. I empathize with those that are ill-educated and don't know like what the process is. And is it scary though to speak out? Of course it is, right? Like there are moments where I'm like, should I put this on? Should I say this? Should I do anything, right? And you can get frozen in that fear. But I think this is where, I tell my team true character is shown through moments of adversity. And this isn't a moment of adversity. So who's going to stand up? What organizations are going to stand up? And at the end of the day, you mentioned it best, right? Some people are afraid of, well, am I going to lose clients? Am I going to lose friends? If I pick a side, what happens? How are they going to perceive me? And to be honest, Caesar, like if I lose those clients weren't meant for me in the first place. They weren't a part of our core values. If I lose a business partner, they're not a good fit. And that's okay. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I can't go to sleep knowing that there are people that can't celebrate Father's Day with carne asadas because their loved ones are in detention centers. They're looking on ICE locator because they don't know they went to work and never came home. Right. And so kudos to you for really just standing up and, helping the community.
No, same to you because, I follow your platform as well and you've been very vocal, the resources that you guys put in your guys' page.
Well, it was thanks to you.
Yeah, no, because we have to be able to spread the word to everybody. We also help with those power of attorneys. We posted it, and luckily there was a lot of notaries that reached out, and they also said, "Hey, Caesar, if you want, let me know. I'll drive to them. They don't need to do anything because once again, everybody runs in fear. And we would hope that everything will go away." But unfortunately, that's not the reality. So it's better to try to adjust now with what we have, cope, fight for our rights, keep fighting for our community, humanity, and with the hopes that everything just will kind of go back to its normality somehow.
Sure. Or find a different pivot, right? Adapt.
We're done.
So last question. Now with the times of where it's at, now with the times of what everybody knows, undocumented, documented, doesn't matter. We're looking at protecting our finances, right? I'm big about, hey, let's continue to create generational wealth.
Correct.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how important do you think a living trust is now?
Now, now I think 1,000%, because there's a lot of myths that go on in social media. There's a lot of stuff that people say. I've had calls from customers that say that if I don't do the trust, the administration or someone's going to come and take my home if I leave. We don't know if that's true, but there's just a lot of fear that's going out there. You got to think about that. A living trust was created by someone at one point in history in this country to be able to protect those assets while they were alive and for future generations. And that was given to a lot of communities, a lot of resources. But our Latino community, it's a very hardworking community. It's a very trustworthy community. For many years, the way that we handled business was just with word. I give you
De la
word,
mano,
de la
de la,
mano,
de la palabra y de la mano.
that's it. But unfortunately, when push comes to shove and you run in a situation where there's hundreds of thousands of dollars in a home, all that goes out the window.
Yep.
So you need to have something established to be able to protect that. Hands down is most likely, aside from giving your interest to your kids or to someone else and losing everything, like you lose control of everything, is to create a trust. Create a living trust where you're able to have everything established, but you still control it. So if one day you decide this is too much and I'm self-deporting, I'm going to sell my home, cash out, and I'm leaving.
Yeah.
And that's one of the only ways of doing it.
When I think like for us, it starts with we're the beginning of generational legacy, right? Of creating like that financial, taking it out of the colchon, putting it into a home, right? Like stop paying rent and become your own landlord. But really, we're just the beginning of it. You're the ending of it. So it should be wrapped into one, because I don't want the state to take 40% in probate of my hard-earned money that then I have to give it away because I didn't use these or I didn't use a living trust. And so I think that it's important for us to know it's not just a documented, undocumented thing. It's not just a certain demographic that we're not allowed to do it, right? It's now we're not gatekeeping. This is for para todos,
Para todos.
for everybody.
No importa si tienes poquito o tienes mucho.
Yeah.
We always get that. But Cesar, I only have one home and that's it. You have more than 50, 60, 70% of the people that live in this country, So yeah, it's very fortunate. You're so blessed that you have this home, and it's now time to protect that home. That is very important to have, because without that, it just, everything crumbles.
Absolutely.
In a moment of despair, in a moment of fear, you do crazy stuff. I'm going to pass everything along to my kids, and you lose everything. So yeah, it's not good.
Well, there's a statistic that the financial wealth only gets passed on and typically ends with Gen 2. So meaning my kids are they saw how hard I worked. I put a living trust together. They're going to keep it and maintain it. But their kids don't see that because their mom and dad just inherited a whole bunch of wealth from grandma. But grandma's dead. They didn't see that. Nor did my kids teach them about financial literacy and education about preserving that. They're just going to keep the legacy rolling. But what happens when Gen 2 gets it? Well, my great-grandkids, they didn't see the struggles that my kids saw. So what happens? Maserati time, right? Let's go. Great-grandma would have loved this, right? And so
Wanted to drive in the Mercedes.
And so that's really where it ends. So all of great-grandma's hard work went down the drain, and it's because of that. And I think that one of the things that I learned about having living trust is you can put YouTube videos, you can put locks and unlocks as to when they get access to your money, when they get access to the accounts, if you pass away and they're younger, when they can have access to the equity in the home to do X amount of things.
At what ages, provisions and everything.
Yeah, and it's not the state telling you what to do. So, well, thank you for all the service that you do.
Thank
and if you guys want to take advantage of Cesar's services, you have questions, anything whatsoever, please reach out to him with MLDC. And thank you so much for tuning in today.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Woo, there you go. Boom.